Parades, carnivals, fireworks, all of Delaware County celebrates USA's 250th. Primary elections results, clear winners in Delco. A Stamford woman celebrates 105 years young. These are the top headlines this week. Welcome to CatskillsAir. I'm Jessica Murphy here with your latest local news. Joining me now, of course, is Matt Avitable, editor and publisher of the Mountain Eagle and Catskills Chronicle. Matt, let's get right to the news. The holiday weekend was busy in the Catskills. From Margaretville to Walton and beyond, folks were enjoying great summer weather and the nation's 250th.
We had so much going on, and so much of it was wonderful. Up near me, we had a great parade in Middleburg. I know that nearby Cobleskill did a lot. I think a lot of the highlight was in Margaretville. We have these excellent photographs of fireworks on the cover. There was the car show. We have a drone photo from our new intern, Mila Crane. And so much happened in the area. It's a real treat to come down to Margaretville around July 4th. Usually I'm coming down to deliver papers like I did yesterday, but ultimately it's one where everyone is so happy, and I have to give a lot of credit to the volunteers that put together the field days. It was great.
We'll have more photos at the end of the broadcast. New York State primary elections were on June 23rd. 4 state seats are up for grabs, and only one local town supervisor spot was on the ballot. Matt, brief us on the voting breakdown, please.
So we had quite a bit happen both regionally and in Delaware County. We'll start with Delaware County. There was a pretty big upset in Hancock. Incumbent Supervisor Jerry Vernold is running for another term, and he lost the Republican nomination to Samuel Rowe Jr. Rowe got 229 votes, it's about 67%, and Vernold got about a third of the vote with 114. Some of the other results were more regional. We wound up seeing a number of candidates being nominated for state and federal offices. Assemblyman Chris Tague was nominated for a potential term in the state Senate. We saw a couple of different candidates on the Republican and Democratic side. Delhi's Janet Tweed, who won a successful victory over her 2 Democratic opponents. We also saw current state senator Peter Oberacker win his nomination for Congress. So with that, there's going to be a bit of a change in November no matter who won, but both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party made clear choices for their candidates for state and federal office. We're going to have a lot of updates between CatskillsAir and the Mountain Eagle between now and November.
Speaking of Hancock, the American Legion Post held a ceremonial send-off for HCS grads entering the military.
American Legion Post 289 held a send-off ceremony for 2 recent Hancock graduates who joined the military on that symbolic date on July 4th. They held the send-off at Post Hall in Hancock. They wound up having a number of people arrive, including post members, town officials, family, and friends, and they wound up sending off Olivia Solon as well as Liam Kelly, who are entering into the military. Solon's joining the Marines, and Kelly is joining the Coast Guard. Post member Rosemarine Delbove said, "Take with you the strength of your community."
Here's to your future, and thank you for your service. The paper has photos and an article about the zone at Scotch Valley. Matt, give us a short background on the ski center and what is the zone.
I got this one by talking with the folks at the zone. They're part of an organization called URA. It's a summer camp near Stamford. There's a couple of them, and they bring a lot of local youth, a lot of youth from out of the area. If you've ever heard that commercial Cars for Kids, they're linked to that organization. It's a primary way that they raise money. And what they do is they bring up young people. They took the old Scotch Valley ski resort in Stamford, they fixed it up, and they wind up bringing in Jewish youth from all over the area and all over the country to enjoy summer in the Catskills. So they have the ski lift fixed. They have a lot of facilities fixed. In fact, one of the very first articles I wrote for the Mountain Eagle after I bought it was there. And they're very welcoming people. And what the camp is doing is welcoming the public. It's been a long time since Scotch Valley closed. A lot of members of the community remember it as a beloved ski resort. And now the public has a chance to make it back on Sunday, August 30th. If you'd like to come, ride the ski lift, take a look at the wonderful facilities or more, and learn more about the zone and URA. It's a great opportunity to make it. They sent me 2 separate photos that were recently taken that we had on the cover, and then they gave me more information that we had inside the paper about some of the activities there and some of the things that are going to be open to the public.
Also in Stamford, the 3rd annual Lynch Memorial Softball Tournament took place last week. So who won, who lost, who played?
In a matter of speaking, they all won, but there was only one victor that had the trophy. This year it was the Bunt Pirates, which was captained by Georgia Lynch, took home the trophy, defeating the two-time champion River Rats. The tournament honors an educator and coach that loved softball and was well beloved. We wound up seeing this tournament founded by Jason Olson, one of Lynch's former students and Lynch's friend, athletic director Mike Brown. The Rats had won the previous 2 years, and now it's time for the Bunt Pirates to take the trophy.
Calling all home cooks, here's a cool way to help the community and share your recipes. Tell us about the Kitchen at Kirkside Community Cookbook.
So much good stuff is happening in Roxbury. As the community development grant grows and as the MARC project in the town of Roxbury businesses and volunteers are getting more and more community activity going, one of them is the Kitchen at Kirkside. As the story says, every great meal begins with a recipe and every recipe has a story. If you want to make it, they're going to be requesting contributions for this local cookbook. There's a QR code in the paper. If you want to write about full course meals, if you want to write about breads, if you want to write about appetizers, whatever the case might be, if you have a local recipe that you would like to share, have it become part of our local history. This is a great opportunity. Share your recipe, become part of the Catskills cuisine.
Andy's has a revival of a town mainstay. After a 2-year break, the Andy's General Store has reopened with new owners. How exciting, Matt?
This is a great mainstay on the main street in Andy's, but ultimately Andy's is only so large and can only support so much business over the years, and now it has new life. Now we have people who understand a lot of how this small town works and how to keep a store like this open as part of Andy's great business renaissance in recent years. So Lee talked to Casta Damianos and June B, who discussed their background. They want to stay true to the history of the store, make sure that it's viable in the 21st century, and just this week started carrying the newspaper. And so now we have an opportunity to get local news there and this great anchor business on the main street in Andy's. If you get a chance, please stop by. Tell them Catskills Air sent you.
While we're talking about food, one of my favorite topics, SUNY Delhi culinary students are champs once again.
We talked about this one last year, and SUNY Delhi is continuing its tradition. They have a very well-regarded culinary program, and that reputation is well-deserved. It's being shown at a national level again as they wound up earning the title of the American Culinary Federation Student Team of the Year, and they defended their championship that it got last year. They competed against some of the best colleges in the nation at the ACF National Convention in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Team Delhi wound up having an exceptional performance, and they wound up earning the only gold medal in the entire competition. Judges said that the team had technical precision, refined presentation, and polished tableside service. And a note for everyone, if you ever get a chance to go to an event that is catered by SUNY Delhi, they do an excellent job. There's quite a few events in the community in which their crew puts their practice on the road, and they do a wonderful job. Congratulations to the team.
Matt, do you know what they made?
They had a lot, and they sourced it locally. It featured steelhead trout from right in the Hudson Valley, Pennsylvania lamb, fresh produce, and an intricate dessert that combined pistachio, tropical fruit, chocolate, and fresh berries. I don't mean to make you all hungry, but that sounds like a great meal.
Sounds delicious. This one's for the little ones. Bobby Curious is back for the 5th annual Summer Sing-Along in Stamford. What are the details?
We'll be following this up as Bobby Curious has a number of summer events. The main one we want to talk about today is Thursday, July 16th at noon. It's the 5th annual Summer Camp Sing-Along. It's a great event that a lot of kids took a part in last year. I had a chance to interview Bobby last year, who talked about how many kids came out, had a wonderful time. This gives an opportunity for families to foster that musical skill in their kids, as well as just have them enjoy music. Not everyone's going to have a big musical background, but they have an opportunity to take part in this interactive concert that takes the park right across from the Mountain Eagle office into one big sing-along that has a number of summer camp favorites, hand motions, audience participation, and perhaps most importantly, a lot of laughter. I can tell you after interviewing Bobby last year, it keeps growing, and it's only going to get better from here.
And again in Stamford, the annual St. Jude's Bike Run takes place at John's Tavern this weekend. Matt, for those who don't know about this event, please fill us in.
The money raised at John's Tavern is going to help St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Everyone is welcome. It's billed for motorcycles, but motorcycles are welcome as well as cars, individuals, other modes of transportation. Make sure to make it. John's Tavern and its partners raised more than $11,000 last year. We're hoping that they're able to raise more. It's one of the best causes in the area, and it's one that's right on Main Street in Stamford.
Also Saturday, Finkel State Park hosts Summerfest and Swim Meet. What does this entail?
Another event, July 18th, as both the Summerfest and the Swim Meet are going to be taking place at Finkel State Park. That's a Saturday. If you have a chance to make it, Finkel's planning to do even more than other years because it also coincides with the month of July 4th and our 250th. It's going to kick off with the swim meet at 9 a.m. sharp at the park's pool complex. The meet is open to all swimmers between 6 and 18. There's going to be special events for those under 6. Registration starts at 8 a.m. After that, there's going to be fun arts and crafts and games and more. And Summerfest is going to offer a DJ and bubble party throughout the day. Remember, everything at Finkel is free and open to the public. It's going to probably be a really nice day. It's probably going to be really hot. If you and the family want to make it out, Finkel's a great place to go in the summer.
Well, you all can let your secret redneck vibe loose on Saturday, July 25th. Blackthorn Resort hosts a redneck festival, so get out your farmer jeans and cowgirl boots. Yeehaw. Matt, what is this all about?
So our own LJ James put together this AI graphic of it too. It's pretty humorous. And with that, it's really funny because he starts it out that Durham is this Irish American community, has a lot of Irish history, and it's kind of like a little Ireland in the Catskills. And it's also going to be hosting the Catskill Mountain Redneck Festival at Blackthorn. Blackthorn's a really nice resort. It's very popular. And honestly, it's a really good venue for it. They have a lot of country music generally. And if you have a chance, as LJ writes, gas up the tractor if it'll start. Come on out Saturday, July 25th to Blackthorn. It originally started as something that included barbecue and tractors, a whole bunch more, and it wound up just growing. There's a smoked pig barbecue competition. If you want a chance to see barbecue chicken, pork, ribs, brisket, and more, again, not to make you hungry, there's a lot more too if you want to come with a motorcycle. There's music. There's going to be a lot for the family. It's going to be a great opportunity. More details in the paper. Make sure to make it out July 25th.
Sounds like a good time. And there must be something in the water in Stamford because last week we celebrated the 100th birthday of Phyllis Graves, and this week Martha Pop makes headlines as she turns a sprightly 105 years old.
I don't want to guarantee that reading the Mountain Eagle helps you live a long time, but yes, it seems like a lot of our readers have been able to have these wonderful full lives, including here, this interview by our own Liz Page. Martha Pop grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, and ultimately has had this wonderful life story. She actually talks about her grandmother living to 107 years. So naturally, Liz says, all right, what's your secret? She says she has none. She gives God the credit for everything. She wound up visiting a part of Syria near Damascus where her mother lived in the 1950s, and she still remembers it. One of the best parts about this article is we have this photo of her today, still sprightly and still there and still cute as always. There's this really nice portrait inside the paper of her when she was younger. And she's been able to look over 105 years, including looking over a picture from her when she was 3 months old. Now, just imagine that in 1921. She had a cousin who lived to 103. Unfortunately, one of her sisters recently passed at 99. She attended a Catholic school where she received a strict training from the nuns. And in fact, she was sent home by the nuns because she didn't know enough English because she was speaking Arabic as a young girl. A good story. And our congratulations to Martha Pop and a lot of credit to her. And thanks to her for having this interview with us, and congratulations on 105 well-lived years.
Happy birthday from all of us at CatskillsAir, Martha. Wishing you many more. Well, for more on these and other articles, pick up the Mountain Eagle or Catskills Chronicle. But Matt, before you go, what's on the schedule for next week?
So since everyone took a lot of time off, well deserved for July 4th, we're going to have a lot of stuff starting back up, including a number of local meetings. The meeting schedule is restarting, and we'll have school, town, and village coverage in our next edition. We're hoping to have county too, depends on how the schedule lines up with our printing. We're also going to see a lot of summer events. A lot of arts are going on. A lot of events are bringing in visitors from out of the area. And I have to give a lot of credit to our local organizations for putting together some really wonderful summer and, of course, in the past July 4th events. I also did an interview with the person helping identify old historical photographs who's coming to the Gilboa Museum. We're going to have more about that. If you have anything in your old archives, a box under a bed somewhere that you would like identified, Gilboa Museum will be hosting, and we'll have more detail next week.
Thanks for keeping us all up to date. We will see you next week, Matt. And now it's time to talk sports. Here's John with baseball and a feat of strength. Were the cards stacked?
You never know what you might see attending a minor league baseball game. Minor league baseball is a sporting event, but also an entertainment business, with players coming and going, sometimes at head-spinning rates. Fan affiliation with team players is often tricky. That often means to stay solvent, marketers must turn minor league games into affordable, family-friendly events. I've seen dog tricks, motorcycle stunts, a budget cut night that leaned into the team's financial struggles, Binghamton replacing their mascot racehorse with a hobby horse and using a stadium megaphone instead of the PA system. I've been there on Super Soaker Day. I've watched Roofman prowl the top of the stadium throwing treats or favors of one sort or another to the fans below. Like I said, you never know what you might see at a minor league baseball game. Recently, on July the 3rd, I spent a rather remarkable evening at Binghamton's Marabato Stadium. The night was warm but pleasant, the stadium packed to the brim. More to see the big bang boom fireworks show than the Rumble Ponies. Binghamton would hold a one-run lead into the 9th inning before allowing the tying and winning runs to cross the plate for the winning visitors. It was between the end of the baseball game and the beginning of the fireworks extravaganza when things got really interesting. A big guy, a local retired high school teacher in the Shenango School District, a champion weightlifter holding 75 Guinness Book of World Records, Bill Clark, made his entrance. The lights dimmed, the loudspeakers blared some theme-inspired music, and in strolled Bill Clark, led by a young man with Bill's gold championship weightlifting belt draped over one shoulder. Bill's entrance rivaled any WWE wrestling entrance. Already holding the Guinness Book of World Record for ripping in half full decks of cards in 30 seconds, the strongman's goal was to break the record for the same feat in 1 minute's time. Now, originally, I thought the whole affair was ridiculous. But after Bill was interviewed in front of the crowd, after Bill went through a warm-up regiment, and after a representative of the Guinness World Book of Records was introduced, there to authenticate the feat, my interest surged. Now, here's a simple deck of cards. It was Bill's goal to rip more than 22 of these. That was the standing record for 30 years in a minute's time. I've never claimed to be a strong man. Maybe Jess could do this. She's a personal trainer. I'm not sure I could rip 46 individual cards in a minute's time. In an astounding feat of strength, I kid you not, in 60 seconds, Bill Clark tore 45 decks of cards in half. 45! It was remarkable to see. In a post-feat interview, the humble Clark told the large crowd this was not his record, it was our record. With Clark claiming the roaring crowd gave him the adrenaline rush that saw him soar past the previous record of 22 ripped decks of cards in a minute. Clark told the crowd he would ask the Guinness Book of World Records to include Binghamton Rumble Ponies fans in the annotation of his incredible feat. The Bill Clark philosophy is almost as powerful as his card deck ripping feats. Clark insists that feats of strength require mental toughness. Thoughts lead to behaviors. Behaviors lead to habits. Habits lead to champions. Good advice for athletes of every persuasion. That's our local sports report for this week.
Thanks, John. I'm going to go home and try and practice with just one deck. Now let's see what Elizabeth has in arts and entertainment.
Hello everybody, welcome to this week's Focus on the Arts news spot. I hope you're having a wonderful creative day in our precious Catskills. Wonderful things happening everywhere, right outside our doorstep. You might have to drive a little bit, but it's worth it to encourage your family, your friends, your kin, your children especially, to learn things that they may not be able to find just in one community. So here we go. Greene County Music and Art Center in Jewett will be having their 44th season of Summer Concert Series. They have workshops, courses, and concerts, live music. It will be a wonderful summer with what they're doing. Music at Grozda on July 18th. The Grozda Chamber Music Society will present compositions by Mozart, Schumann, and other masters. Okay, at the Headwaters Arts Center, Stamford, there's an open call. Everybody's Art, which is self-explanatory, a great title. Self-taught to traditional artisans, folk and traditional art. This is about everybody's art, something for everybody in a very earthy, gritty, inside way. The exhibit will be September 5th till October 31st. You can submit up to 3 pieces, $10 a piece. 48 by 48 is the limitation of size. The deadline is August 7th. So you do have some time to either do some work or pick something you've already done to submit. Everybody's Art at the Headwaters Art Center in Stamford. July 24th, East Durham, McGrath's Irish Pub. We'll have a ABBA-themed night. Wonderful. Love ABBA if you love dancing. So tickets can be bought at the door or the Greene County Tourism website, which you can go on to. They're going to have a great tribute band called The Dancing Dream. So we definitely want to go and check this out. They're going to be having a trivia question contest to win 2 free tickets to go see this ABBA tribute band. There'll be live music continually after the ABBA band is done. So this sounds very fun. And so I hope you get out there, have a great creative day. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Here are more fun things to do. It's summer, so it's always a lot going on. The West Courtright Center invites everyone to a free concert Friday night. Performing is the El Cot Band. They perform on some handmade instruments, very cool. The night also includes a lesson on instrument making with plenty of music and lots of food too. Bovina opens the doors for its annual lawn sale day on Saturday. Get deals on furniture, gardening tools, clothes, and much more. The Bovina Library will also be open. Come and explore their 200 years of local history. And if you can't get enough fireworks, then mark your calendar. Saturday, July 25th, Stamford Fire Department puts on its annual free fireworks event. DJs and a bounce house and all that fun kick off the afternoon in the hayfield on Mile Hill. The party goes on until dusk with an explosive light show. Following the 4th festivities, it was a wet, then a steaming, humid week, perfect for resting up. Will we get more heat, more rain? Let's see what the upcoming week's weather looks like.
Good day, Catskill Mountain friends and neighbors. It's Lori with CatskillsAir, bringing you your work week weather update for the beautiful, pristine to highly wacky and unpredictable in weather Catskill Mountain region. And after a pretty much spectacular weekend in the Catskill Mountain region, it was pretty perfect. However, we're going to turn that dial up and heat up the oven in the Catskill Mountain region in the Northeast, and it's going to be downright hot and humid to kick off the week until midweek, and then we're going to cool it down once again for the weekend ahead. And I do see a cool down for the remainder of July. But let's just kick it off with your work week weather update for the Catskill Mountain region. On Monday, we can expect mostly sunny skies with a few afternoon passing clouds. Temps are on the rise to the low to mid 80s, winds lightly blowing out of the west-southwest at 5 to 10. Overnight, we have partly cloudy skies. The temps are only going to kick back to the low 60s, winds slightly blowing out of the west-southwest at 5 to 10. On Tuesday, we have a few passing clouds in the morning with mostly sunny skies in the afternoon. Hot and humid, temps are darn near 90 degrees with winds on the gusty side out of the west at 10 to 15. Overnight, we have mostly clear skies with breezy conditions. Temps are going to dip back to the low 70s, winds are going to be out of the west at 10 to 15. On Wednesday, we have mostly clear skies and sunny skies in the morning with a mix of sun and clouds in the afternoon. Hot and humid, temps near 90, winds breezy out of the west-northwest at 10 to 20. Overnight, we have partly cloudy skies with temps dipping back to the mid to low 60s, winds on the gusty side out of the northwest at 10 to 15. On Thursday, we have intervals of sun and clouds. Temperatures are going to be much cooler, topping out in the low 80s, winds out of the west-northwest at 10 to 15. Overnight, we have a few passing clouds with temps dipping back to the upper 50s, low 60s, winds lightly blowing out of the west-northwest at 5 to 10. And on Friday, we have a mix of sun and clouds, temps on the cooler side, the low 80s, winds breezy out of the west-northwest at 10 to 15. And overnight, we have a few passing clouds with temps dipping back to the upper 50s, low 60s, winds lightly blowing out of the northwest at 5 to 10. As I bid you farewell, remember that weather and temperature changes on a dime, especially in the beautiful Cats. Be sure to join me for your weekend weather update, because we're going to cool down those temperatures for the weekend ahead. So see you then from somewhere in the Cats.
That's it for CatskillsAir News. If you see something out there, let us know. I'm Jessica Murphy, and as we go, let's see some of the faces and fireworks from the holiday weekend.